Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third podcast, GIGAHERTZ Podcast. And today I have a wonderful guest. He's the third general of Warriors Within, the company that I have told you about. And Petru and Ian, my last guest, told you about. And today I have Mohammed Musa. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me, AlGhazali. It's an absolute honor being over here. Now, I did come all the way from Birmingham, and the only reason I did is because I respect you as a person. You really are an interesting person. You have presence, you have character and charisma, as we're going to speak about today. And, bro, dude, this whole podcast has a very large potential. It's amazing, and I look forward to the future of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed, for taking all the effort coming from Birmingham. I really appreciate all of this effort that you've taken, and I can't wait to get going. So we'll start off by asking you, I think the thing that you're very, very talented. I think not only talented, you only have it. You shaped your charisma. And I remember the first day when I saw your speech, and I thought, wow, I really need to talk to this guy. I really need to learn something from him. And let's get started. So, could you tell me more about what is charisma and what is command? And are they important? And how? Let's start the first by defining charisma and command. What is it to you? And what is it in general?
That's a very good question, and I believe it's very important nowadays. You see, back in the days, people used to have physical wars. A lot of them. They were very frequent, where when people would raise children, they would start training them so they can become stronger, so they can be prepared for those physical wars. But nowadays, it's more of a social war. Everyone wants to get that good job. Everyone wants to be interesting. That's why there's social media. They made those tools for it. So people are lacking in the charisma side. People don't have much of a character. But what is charisma? Now, I can give you the full Oxford definition in a whole paragraph, but there's no point in that. Why not simplify it? I believe charisma is attraction through character. So you have to do what's necessary with authenticity. And there's a very key point that I wish to discuss in this podcast about being authentic. So you do what's necessary as a person, whether it's speaking, dealing with people, hand gestures, whatever it is. As long as you do that and you're authentic with it and you do it properly, you attract the attention of people. And after that attraction, they speak with you, they make deals with you, whatever is the outcome. But that attraction through your character is what we call charisma. And then we go to the second concept of command. Now, these are very sensitive topics. And sensitive not as in they're private, we can't discuss them, but the information that I'm about to say, I have to make sure that I truly mean it. So I would really take my time giving the definition of what command is. A lot of people think that when you want to command something, you're manipulating people. Things such as commanding respect from people, demanding. There are different ways of saying it. But command is you simply being yourself, and the outcome of what happens, life does that. Let me give an explanation. So you have someone, he goes into public speaking, he does interviews, he does a lot of things in life that help his character. Okay? He can control his charisma by doing things. But command is not up to him. Command is the outcome of your own charisma. So if I'm someone who worked on my character, I've done public speaking, I've done interviews, I've done businesses, I've done so many experiences in life, and I dress well. I'm someone who works on my physique. I'm someone who takes care of himself. The outcome is I would demand and command respect from people. So I don't go around saying, hey, you give me respect, that's command. No one's going to do that. So it's a very natural thing. It's a very beautiful way, and I like the question that you gave there. So charisma and command. Charisma is sort of the parent that first occurs, and command is the child of it. It's the outcome that comes after that.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think people find that command is, some people say that it's being arrogant, you know, being someone who is arrogant, someone wants to dominate the audience, dominate the people, someone who would like to influence people in ways to gain for their own selves, without without having any regards for the audience. And I think it's a subtle line between command and charisma, because there is a lot of interplay between both of them. And what's really important about charisma, and how can we develop charisma? Can everyone be a charismatic person? And what are the things that anyone would do to become charismatic?
Okay. Now, the question you put out split into two. There's the first part that you said people see command as arrogant, manipulative. If someone forces command on people where that person is not authentic, for example, let's say someone doesn't like to dress formally, use shirts and waistcoat and so on. But he saw on the internet some video saying, hey, you have to dress like that to command respect when you walk in the room. So he says, okay, I don't like this, but I'm going to dress that way. And you can sense that this person is forcing that character. And then he starts using tips and tricks he sees on the YouTube. People notice that fakeness, that inauthenticity.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are like that, you might appear arrogant. But when you're someone who is yourself and you worked on your personality, on your character, you will command respect from people, and you will not command respect from some people. It's fine. You're not going to command respect from everyone, and you have to accept that, because your goal is not world domination. Your goal is simply being the best version of yourself through charisma, and the outcome is that some people will respect you. Now, on the second point is, what is charisma? More of how do you get charisma?
How can we develop it?
It's difficult. It's difficult, especially nowadays, because everyone is aware of what people think of them. People are afraid to do the extra thing. People don't want to stand on the stage. But that's also a blessing. What I mean by that is, back in the days, let's say you want to go 500 years ago, people don't really care much about what they think of them. So it was easy to be charismatic. That's why you hear stories, of old stories. Oh, this guy was that way, and we're like, oh wow, I wish I could be like him. Nowadays, no one wants to do it. So if you just shine a little bit, people will see you as charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you exactly do that? Experiences. Go do different things. People say I might appear charismatic. I don't like to label myself with anything, but I'm simply being natural. I speak. I don't think, oh, let me use my hand like this. It's just a thing I do. Because there was a time when I was younger, I used to stutter. Not so much, but I used to stutter a little bit. I used to be afraid of doing things, but I didn't like that. I said, nah, I have to change this. So I used to stand in front of the class. I used to say things. I used to get out of my comfort zone. And time by time, start pushing my comfort zone more and more and more and more. And even now, although the circle that I made could be considered large, I still don't see it as enough. From other people's perspective, they might say, oh, that's a big circle. But for me, it's still the same. I'll always keep pushing. I'll always try to develop new skills by experiences. Public speaking, I've been working on that. Presentations, a lot of interviews with companies, speaking with people, meeting people, traveling around. It's simply just talking with people. I just speak. I just speak with my hands, and that's how I am. It's just a natural thing.
So, in a nutshell, it's all about exploring different avenues, different people, different places, get into different experiences in life, being in different places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the key is to talk to people. If you want to be charismatic, talk to people and be yourself.
Yep.
Be interested in people as well.
Mm-hmm.
By you being interested in people, listening to them, talking to them, you will come across as more interesting person.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important nowadays, especially when you think about many people nowadays. You'd find them looking at their phones, swiping through all day long, and I think we miss the human connection, and we miss that long, deep conversation with people that would sometimes would be very, very thrilling and rewarding for anyone. When you meet new people, talk to them, and sometimes you will get very, very helpful insights from them. And this is when your mind gets into working, and where your charisma, your character will build by doing all these things.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, it's an experience thing. At the end of the day, I've had a recent experience when I was at work, and there was this senior over there. He's been there for 30 plus years. Matter of fact, 45 to be specific. And he had this program that he was working on his computer. I was curious. I told him, then, how do you do that specific thing? He told me, I can give you the specific details, but the short answer is, I just know. From my perspective, I was, oh, do I have to find the formula? Do I have to click that and that? For him, he's been doing it so much that he just knows. It's very natural. So nowadays, especially charisma is more of a social thing rather than technical. So as you said, be authentic to who you are, be interested in people, speak with people, and as time passes by, as you get out of that comfort zone, you start excelling as a person. And if I were to quote it, I would say, do what people don't do, and then you will stand out.
Wow. So you talked about charisma and command and their relationship with public speaking. I'd like you to tell me more about where does charisma fit in the term of public speaking, and also command as well. This is very important. I mean, do we need charisma and command in all circumstances, in all situations, whether it's public speaking or it's normal conversation with anyone? Or do we need it specifically for public speaking? And otherwise in life, we don't need charisma and command. So, and also, one important thing is it a mask that we can wear and then be at the stage? Or is it something that being authentic, being you all times, whether you are at stage or you're talking just to a normal person?
Now, in this episode, each time I speak about charisma, it will always be under the definition that I said, which is charisma is attraction through character. Attraction, as we said, is simply gaining the attention of people, and character is who you are. Now, the movies told us that charisma is someone who comes, hey, how you doing? How's your day? You're all right? This is flamboyant, cool person. And that's just one type of charismatic person.
Yeah.
Me personally, I kind of sometimes lean towards this person. Some people like me, some people don't like me. There are people, by the way, some people think, oh man, Musa, you're charismatic. No, I have people that don't like me. Some people, when they see my character, they say, no, that's too much for me. And then you have some people who, they're very calm, they're just subtle. They speak very few words, but when they speak, their words have meaning.
Like me.
I consider you would speak often. That's from my perspective. It's different perspective per person.
Yeah.
In my image, I have you as a character, and I got attracted to come speak with this character. Hence, you have charisma. Some people saw a different side of you. They're maybe attracted that some people aren't. The best way to do this is be authentic to who you are. Ask, who am I as a person? But it's not just one fixed type of person. It's who am I as a person, and where do I want to strive to be? How much do I want to improve on that? The more you improve on it, the more you'll find people who get attracted, people who be detracted. That's the way of life. If you start attracting everyone, you're doing something wrong. You're faking it. There's a quote that says, he who is a friend to everyone is an enemy to himself. Because you're just being a people pleaser when you do that. So that's the emphasis on what charisma is. Now, how is it applied in public speaking? Public speaking is speaking to the public, whether it's a large audience of 500 people or one person. And I even go a step further by saying, even if you're speaking to yourself in the mirror, that could be a form of public speaking. And the essence of public speaking is, a lot of people, they say, oh, you have to have a change of tone and, walk around the stage and so on. But the pure essence of public speaking is to influence people based on your speech, to give a message to people. So, for example, if I want to speak to people about, let's say, the concept of stars in space, if all I need to do is one sentence for them to completely understand my speech, that's better than giving a 10-minute speech with walking around the stage and acting like a clown and everything. Sometimes there are topics where they're vague. It's very difficult for the audience to understand it. That's why you would use things such as walking around the stage, changing your tone, and so on. Now, as charisma is you simply being yourself, the character, now we have to look at the attraction part. How are you going to attract the audience? Okay? Number one, be authentic. Okay? Own what you're saying. Let's think of an example. Give me any speech topic, for example. Any.
The importance of knowledge.
Very well. The importance of knowledge. So if I walk up to the stage and it says behind me the importance of knowledge, they say, okay, this person's about to speak about the importance of knowledge. Number one, I have to believe what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm authentic with it and I truly stand with it, my words will seem natural. Let me give you an example. This might be it's a harsh example. Gigahertz does not necessarily believe in this. I'm just going to point this out. Let's say someone says, I don't like women. Let's say someone says that.
Mm-hmm.
And another person also says, I don't like women. The first person doesn't really believe in that. He just says it because it's a cool thing. So he says, yeah, I don't like women. They do well. He's not authentic. People will be, oh, dude, what are you, a misogynist? They would start walking away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But the other person says, yes, I don't like women. What are you going to do about it? This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This happened to me in life, and that's why I don't like women. Of course, people will not like this person, but some people in a way will be attracted or like, hey, I don't agree with what he says, but I respect that he actually means it.
Yeah.
He's standing his ground. He doesn't crumble to what people think. So charisma in public speaking, if you want to be charismatic when you give a speech to the people, number one, believe in what you're going to say and stand on business. Stand on your ground when you're about to talk about it. Number two is use the necessary tools to empower your speech. And these are things like moving around the stage, engaging with the audience, changing tone. For example, if I want to say that the importance of knowledge, and I'm not a philosopher myself, okay? But I've done a lot of research about masculinity and the concept of men and so on. So I'm going to twist the topic to match the concept of masculinity and so on, because that's what I would believe in. So I would say there's a philosopher known as Alan Watts. He actually exists. That's an actual philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the standard of a man is the mind. It's not how big he is, how much of a bad boy. No, it's about your mind. That's what makes you a man. So if I actually start speaking about this topic, I'm authentic about it, and I'll be comfortable using tools such as engaging with the audience. I can change my tone when I want to. I can move around the stage. That's why when we do in public speaking, when we do things like improvised speeches off the cuffs and so on, people always crumble because they don't necessarily believe in what the topic is. They're good speakers, but they don't believe in it.
Yeah. And that's why sometimes off the cuff and improvised speeches come across as cliches or inadequate in a way, so that the speaker would talk briefly about the topic because they don't believe in it. And that's really the key, as you said. You have to believe in the thing that you're talking about, so that so that you give a comprehensive, compelling argument. Even if people would like you or dislike you, you have to stand on business, as you said. Yeah, great to know that.
I was saying, I'm not a fan of the off-the-cuff speeches.
Mm-hmm.
People say it makes you a better speaker because you're put under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But why should I get used to lying?
Yeah.
Why do I want to fake my speech skills?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather speak when I want to speak. So if you give me a topic that I don't believe in and a topic that I believe in, fine, this can help me be better under pressure and so on. But people think that it's always good to just be able to speak and so on. Sometimes it's better to remain quiet if you don't believe in something.
Yeah.
I don't believe in. I don't have to. And that could be charisma, being quiet. People realize, oh, this is a topic he doesn't believe in. He doesn't just go say, hey, let me lie so I can show people that I'm confident. I'm being quiet. I know this is something I'm not into. That's my character. People will get attracted to that.
Yeah, fair enough. As you said, people are different. There are introvert, extrovert people. And everyone could be charismatic in a way by owning themselves, taking ownership of what they have, and leveraging all the skills they have. I mean, an introvert person could stay silent without talking into topic they don't believe in. And also an extrovert could talk and speak and attract the audience and be so charming. But how can anyone really, even shy introverts, or let's say extrovert who speaks gibberish all the time, how can really any one of those be charismatic and taking all these things, leveraging their own selves and be charismatic, how really to, especially for introverts, how could they get out of their comfort zone and speak to people and be charming and charismatic? Oh,
It's a very good question, AlGhazali. It's like the question of, can anyone be rich? I remember I watched a YouTube video about that before, and they say that anyone can be rich, but not everyone will be rich.
mhm.
So you all have the potential of being charismatic, but not everyone will do it. That's just the way we humans are. That's what makes us different. People have different motivation levels.
Mhm.
Now, those two terms, extrovert and introvert, I personally never like to use them.
Sometimes they say ambivert,
Oh, yeah.
someone's in the middle.
Someone in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I am, because there are times I don't want to see anyone. I just want to stay in my room. Please, no.
Yeah.
And times I'm like, let me speak with people.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Am I in the middle? So
Mm.
it's very strange, but I do understand what you mean. Some people, it's not the introverts or people who like to stay in their room. They like to stay with the same sort of people. They're comfortable with only a selected group of people,
Exactly.
and they feel that they can then shine with that group of people.
Mhm.
That's where they can have good energy. But if you take them out of that circle of friends, their energy depletes. That's why they call themselves
Yeah,
introverts.
exactly.
They're enter their circle. Extroverts, they can have a group of friends, but they always want to expand more. Oh, I want to see more people. I want to get to know more people. Charisma. Now, the answer would have been amazing if, like, charisma is to be someone who's all out loud and so on. So I could have answered by saying, well, extroverts are doing a good job at it. Introverts, you guys have to get out of your circle. But charisma is more about being authentic to who you are as a person. If you're someone who is silent, as we discussed earlier, that could work. Do that. That's amazing. Because that will attract some people. And if you're someone who's out loud, that will also attract some people, but it will also detract some people. For introverts, people who like their own group of circle, sit with yourself, ponder upon yourself. Know who you are as a person, first of all. If I'm someone who likes to stay silent, I like only my group of friends, and I'm happy with that, okay, that's your character. Good for you. But, and this is my favorite quote of all time, actions have consequences. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. I'll add in a little story right now, where when I was in school, let's just say I wasn't a good kid, okay? And we had this teacher. So this teacher, he used to teach us physics. And let's just say he didn't control the class exactly. Everyone was just jumping around like monkeys all over the place. And every class would be him just walking in, he sits down, he explains, no one listens to him. But then one day, we were all doing the same thing, all shouting. He walks in and he just stands there, looking at everyone. We were like, whoa, this is different this time.
Yeah.
Was he angry? Is he happy? What's the matter?
Mhm.
He just stands there for 15 minutes, standing there, until we realize, okay, we're actually curious. What is he going to say? So everyone sits down. And he says, you see that projector up there? Any of you right now can stand on that table and break that projector, and I won't stop you. But just know that if you do that, I'll give you a detention. Every action has a consequence. As long as you accept the consequence, do the action.
Yeah.
Right now, someone sitting outside there can walk in and murder both of us. Do that. Okay, let him do that. As long as he knows what that the consequence is going to be, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So same thing as an introvert or an extrovert. If you know your character, you say, hey, I'm someone I like to stay in my room, play some games with the boys from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
That's an action you're doing. And if you keep doing this action, what's the consequence? Number one, you're not going to get to meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, you won't gain experiences outside life. Number three, overall, external people won't be interested in you as a person. As long as you accept those, if you're someone that says, yeah, I'm fine with this, I don't mind, okay, good for you. You succeeded in life. You are happy with where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You did an action, you know the consequence, you're happy with that, that's your character. Improve your character, whether it's being a better person with that friend group of yours, and further and so on, so you can strengthen the attraction between you and your friends. That can make you more charismatic among them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the extroverts, obviously you like to get out of your way, meet people left, right, and center. Now, we already spoke about introverts on how they can be charismatic by being true to themselves, and they'll attract people to attract people.
Mhm.
The same law applies to extroverts. Now, just earlier we did discuss behind the scenes some potential celebrities who are charismatic
Mhm.
or potential introverts. You gave a good
Yeah.
example of Thomas Shelby.
Thomas Shelby.
Yeah. And the guy who plays, I believe, Cillian Murphy or Killian
Cillian
Murphy.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
I
pronounce
think he's an introvert in real life
that.
and also as a character.
Look how many people
as
like
Thomas
him.
Shelby.
Look
Yeah,
how many
and
people
people
like
loved him.
People
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
Literally, like Thomas Shelby, you just look at people, eyeing them, and he's not outwards there. His brothers in the series, some of them could be extroverts. They like to be rash and so
Yeah.
on. So people are not necessarily attracted to that. Some people might be, and some aren't. Extroverts, the basis of an extrovert is someone who gains energy by interacting with further types of people, not just his own circle. Now, extroverts, they have higher risk when it comes to being charismatic. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's put in a diagram. So introverts, you have a circle, okay? Introverts, they will reach a maximum amount of charisma with their own group of people. And they're happy with that? Good, we're done with them. Extroverts, they're always expanding. They're always speaking to different people, different experiences, always doing extra and extra stuff. So I'm going to split into pro and con. The pros of that is that you get to try different things, you get to be more charismatic, you get to gain attention from more people, attract more types of people, which can benefit you. Let's say you have a connection with someone, they got attracted to you based on your character, they might give you a job, they might start a business with you, and so on.
Yeah.
The con of that is there's a risk where there's also more people that won't like you as an extrovert. Trying to think of an example, for example, Will Smith. Okay? He was the cool guy. Everyone saw him as the cool guy. Everyone loves him. He speaks out with charisma, his open body. It was amazing. But you saw what happened recently with Will Smith when basically the story is there was an Oscar going on. They're giving the Oscar awards, and then someone spoke about his wife. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then he went over and he slapped him, and he said, "Keep your wife's name out of your mouth," and so on. Now, introverts would have dealt with it differently. Extroverts, like Will Smith, dealt with it that way. So the way he acted, he thought in his mind, "Oh, people will see me, they'll get attracted. I stood my ground. How dare you speak about my wife? I'm gonna walk up there, acting all cool and say, I'm gonna slap you like that, and then I'll walk back." Look at the hate that he's got. Now, if he is happy with that consequence, so be it. That's his own thing. But the consequence is that people weren't attracted to what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
An introvert could have said, "Okay, I know Chris Rock, the person who spoke to my wife. I don't appreciate that. So after stage, backstage, I'll speak with him. I'll tell you, I don't appreciate that.
Yeah,
let's go talk about it." And that's the way I would put it. So, summary of that question where you asked, can introverts and extroverts be charismatic? Anyone can, but not everyone will. Charisma is attraction through your own character. So if you're an introvert, someone who likes their own small circle, you can be charismatic. You can work on yourself as a person to strengthen the attraction with those people, but you're limited because you don't enjoy speaking with other people. Extroverts, now you're also being yourself as an extrovert. You like to speak with all sorts of people, so you have a bigger circle. Some might even say you have a more interesting life. You get to go do more things. So yes, you'll get to be more charismatic with all sorts of people, gain different types of attractions, more benefits come with that, but at the same time, a lot of attention on you might be a bad thing.
I couldn't agree more, yes. So sometimes a lot of attention is something that you don't want. Even if you were extrovert or an introvert. In both cases, sometimes getting a lot of attention could be problematic and could put you in situations, possibly awkward situations. Yeah. So now we're moving into diving deep into charisma and sub skills of charisma, if you will say. Things like eye contact, hand gestures, body movement, and listening, not interrupting the person in front of you. So all of these skills. Could you tell me more about them, how to implement them? And also, could you give us more skills or sub skills of charisma and how to build it?
Okay. Charisma and confidence, two different things, but they're all in the same room. They're all together.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone who's not confident, you are not going to be charismatic. That's a very important rule.
Mm-hmm.
But what is confidence? Again, the movies told us that confidence is being this tough guy, you have a bravado to you, but that's not confidence.
Yeah.
You can be like, as we said, Thomas Shelby, a very silent person who's confident in who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is a mixture between knowledge and security. And I want to go very slow on this topic because this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So as we said, confidence is a formula between adding knowledge and security. What is knowledge? For example, I'll ask you, would you classify yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
I would say I'm an introvert, but sometimes I'd like to go out there and meet new people. So I think that all people have both tendencies to being introvert and extrovert, but one of them dominates. And some people, neither of them dominates at all. But in my case, I would say I'm an introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would gain more energy being in the circle of people that you know more.
Yeah. But also I appreciate, and sometimes I'd like to explore and make new connections and put myself out there, expand my comfort zone so that every time I gain more knowledge and more wisdom from other people. And I think this is something I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years. I used to be very, very shy, not speak to all people. But when I started working in pharmacy and in different pharmaceutical companies, I noticed that I need to be out there. I need to talk to people, try to convince people with my products or with anything that I'm selling, whether it's my product or ideas or this podcast itself, for example. And I found that it's really essential to build interpersonal skills. And this is something introvert could have some limitations in this case. So in my scenario, I started developing myself and honing my interpersonal skills. And I can confidently say now I'm at a very high level that I am very, very comfortable. Now I can talk to anyone I would like to. So comfortably without being so shy, but not for too much. Because talking to people for long hours and long time, it drains my energy. So that I would like to go and recharge again. Come again to the next experience in a few other days. But essentially I prefer to recharge on my own and sit there by myself. And I think there is a benefit in this. And I think a lot of extroverts they don't have is when you are sitting by yourself, you are mastering your thoughts. Because thoughts come and go. Whenever thought come to you and you think about it, whether you want to keep it or leave it, whether this thought is helpful for you or not. So when you sit by yourself, you will have a massive stream of thoughts coming to you. And now you have to master how am I going to benefit from all these fuzzy ideas that pops up into my mind. This is very important. Because extroverts tend to have the external stimulation from all people around them, but introverts have their own internal stimulation with all ideas coming to their head. And this is where I would say the vast amount of creativity happens when you are sitting by yourself. Try to think about all these ideas and see which one is the very helpful for your project, or which idea is so creative for everything that you're doing now. Whether it's writing a book, whether it's making a podcast, whether it's inviting which one of the guests that I would like to invite, anything you can think of. And I think this is one of the strengths of being an introvert. But overall, I think I've come a long way from being shy to being open to people and talking confidently and effortlessly with anyone.
So, as I was saying, you cannot be charismatic if you are not confident as a person. The reason why I asked you, are you an introvert or an extrovert, is if someone says, let's say, you said you were an introvert, but you still like to go out of your way to experience other things.
Yeah.
That's knowledge. That's the first part of it. You know what you are and you know what you want. And then there's security. Security is how comfortable you are with this path that you're taking. If you're comfortable and you're happy with it, you're confident.
Yeah.
Now that you have that confidence, apply it on yourself. So that can elevate your character, which will then cause attraction of people. I'll give you a good example. On your second episode, you hosted Ian Masori. So let's say there's someone standing here and someone standing here. The first person is wearing a hoodie, just any regular clothes, and the second person is wearing a suit. Who's more confident?
Suit, of course. The person wearing a suit.
Now that's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
And even if you said the hoodie, that's still the wrong answer. So the person wearing a hoodie, because we said confidence and knowledge and security, they know that, all right, I'm wearing a hoodie. I like wearing hoodies. And they know the consequence of wearing hoodies is that people might not take me seriously, but I'm also comfortable with it. And they're happy with that. They're comfortable. So they're also secure about it. They're confident. They don't mind giving a speech wearing a hoodie. For example, Mohammed Musa is a good example.
Yeah.
I always tell him, dude, wear a suit, you're giving a speech. And he comes up with a hoodie every time. I was like, dude, you're in a big competition. What are you doing? So he always would wear a hoodie. He's comfortable with that. So he's confident. Ian, he doesn't like wearing suits. We once, for Warriors Within, we had a pitch in front of judges to speak about the business. I came in with a waistcoat, professional. Patrick came in with a suit. Ian comes up with a polo t-shirt. Like, Ian, what's going on, Ian? He said, I can wear a suit. I know I can, but I'm not secure about it. I'm not comfortable with doing it. Yeah, that might mean I'm faking it. So if I fake it, I'm not confident in it. And if I'm not confident in it, I can appear charismatic. I can give you all the speech. But because I'm not confident, you will see the cracks in my speech.
Oh, yes.
So I will not attract people with my character because they will see those little flaws. But myself, a lot of people would ask me, because I used to, last year, obviously, every day I used to come wearing a waistcoat, and people told me, are you not comfortable with that? No, I actually really enjoy it. I like dressing up, getting on a shirt. It's ironic that I'm not wearing it today, but I knew what I want and I was comfortable with it, and it made me a confident person, which made me do better in my speeches, which made me attract an audience, and people will then say this person is charismatic.
You remind me with something that you said in one of Warriors Within sessions. You talked about confidence and knowledge, and you said a very interesting quote. I can't remember the quote specifically, but it's something like knowing who you are and being confident about it. Is it like this way? Could you say it in your own words and tell me more about it?
Speaking about the concept of confidence. This is something I struggled with for a while, but it's important to struggle, to go through a journey of struggling to find out who you are as a person. And I'm still on that journey of being confident in who I am. Confidence, it's a formula. Confidence equals knowledge plus security. Knowing who you are and being secure about it. Let me give you an example. Nowadays, music is a big thing. Okay? A lot of people like to listen to rap music. Do you like rap music?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I absolutely despise it. So it's often seen as the cool thing, thugs and gangs and guns and all that. And people nowadays, in order for them to be with the cool kids, they have to start listening to rappers. Because they ask them, hey, what music do you listen to? Oh, I listen to Central C and all that. Oh, wow, you're a cool guy. I could do that to be with the cool kids, but I know I don't like rap music. And I'm not secure about it. But let me put it in a better way, actually. I know I don't like rap music, and I'm secure about it. As in, okay.
Secure about not listening to rap music at all. To it, and not fitting with anyone else.
Absolutely. Because if I was someone, let's say I don't like rap music. This guy over here, he likes rap music, and we're getting to know each other, and I know that he's part of the cool kids. I say, yeah, dude, I listen to rap music, and I start proving it to him. I start listening to it, and I start doing all those cool things that they do. I'm faking it.
You're coming across as cliched or manipulative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can see the little cracks in that. So if I do what they like, at first they're gonna like me, but I'm not confident in myself listening to rap music because number one, let's establish what knowledge is in this case. My knowledge is that I know that right now I'm listening to rap music, and I'm showing them that I like it. Am I secure about that fact?
No,
because that's not the truth. So I can appear confident, but eventually they shall find out. There is a verse in the Quran that says in English that when the truth appears, falsehood shall perish. Okay. So basically, eventually you're going to get caught with all this faking. So when they actually find out that I've been faking it, they'll kick me out of their gang, the cool kids gang. But if from the start I said, look, man, I understand why you might like it. I understand the beats and the funk behind it. But me personally, I'm not into that. The knowledge I established here is that what I'm showing is I am not into rap music. Am I secure about that? Yes, because that's the truth. Because he realized that I come from his point of view, because I didn't fake it. He said, oh, yeah, I appreciate you saying that. That's pretty cool. And he would respect the fact that I said that to him in a confident way.
Yeah.
Maybe then he would say, let's hang out. And I won't actually do this in real life. I won't go fake with people just so I can hang out with people. But it's more of when you're consistent as a person, when you're confident, you know who you are as a person, you know what you're about to do, and you're secure about it, then you are a confident person.
I have another question that came to me now. That is, public speaking and charisma, they have lots of things in common. And yeah, charisma, it's a way to develop your public speaking skills. But I would like you to dive deep into sub skills. What are the things that we need to develop, whether it's public speaking or charisma, whether it's being better human? Things like listening, eye contact, facial expressions, all these things. And I think when people have a normal conversation with anyone they like, they tend to have it so confidently and so effortlessly, showing their emotion, expressing their ideas, showing their sadness, also showing their enthusiasm and happiness. But when people are put on the spot in public speaking, all these skills fade away. Why? That's the first question, and how to address that. And the second question is, could you tell us more about all these sub skills and how to develop each one of them?
Okay. I first want to put out a notice from the beginning that if you're someone who's happy with their own circle, someone you just want to stick with your own circle, you don't want to go further with people, you're happy with that sort of energy, go ahead, do your thing. There's a consequence for that. You might be happy there, but you won't get other opportunities in life, whether it's career, experience, and so on.
Exactly.
But if you're someone who wants a good career, you want to impress your manager or company or whatever it is, a lady, for example, if you want to impress a girl, or I'm going to speak from guys' perspective, I'm not going to speak for ladies. Or even if you just want to get to know more people, here's the breakdown based on your question that you asked. When people are born into this world, no one is born specifically with a character. Now, I know you study about genes and so on. It might have an influence, but your experiences as a person, they have a stronger influence on who you're going to be over your genes, let's say. So people think that if I aim to be such a person, I might be faking it. But in reality, you're not exactly one specific person. You have to try different things to know what you're happy with. And in Warriors Within, I spoke about the concept of becoming the actor. So find an actor, whether this is a celebrity in a movie, whether it's a person you know, or you can even be a vision of yourself. Me personally, I've been watching a lot of Al Pacino movies. And he has a very strong, and he's not a big man, he's not a very tall man or like an intimate, no. He's average height and everything. When he looks someone in the eye, people respect him. I like that. I said, nah, I want to
Yeah.
take that aspect of
He
him.
has a very powerful eye contact.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Al Pacino is and in reality, in real life, he's the opposite, by the way.
Wow.
Compared to he's very like that. If you actually see it, which is pretty cool.
Mm.
But I'm not interested in Al Pacino. I'm interested in the characters he plays in the movies. So I said, I'm not going to be that exact character because that means I'm being unauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to take an aspect
Okay.
of him and I'm going to design it in a way where it fits me.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be something of mine rather than his. So
Interesting.
the sub skills of being charismatic, keep in mind that charisma, as we said, is attraction to your character. But your character is not just your mind, it's you overall as a person.
Mm-hmm.
How you use
your
bodies,
yeah.
Even the way you move and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important.
Yeah, and I think when you talk to kids, it's not like when you talk to adults. It's not like when you talk to your friends. It's not like when you talk to your parents, your family, your spouse, or anyone else. You tend to have that shift between characters in life, and I think that's normal for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you speak to kids, you tend to speak so silly. Yeah, how are you doing? Yeah, you speak like that. But when you are, let's say, in a lecture and you want to ask a question, you tend to speak so quietly and try to sharpen your words, trying to say the exact word that means something in that lecture. But when you are with your friends, you tend to speak naturally, without any effort of making decision to say which words or how to say it and how to use your body language. You would use it intuitively without thinking about it. But when you are put at spot, especially in public speaking sessions, especially in a presentation, let's say in a business pitch, let's say in a presentation at school, whatever it is, that's when people get scared and people tend to be frightened. Even if people could do it anywhere, but when they are put at that spot, the fear of public speaking prevails.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very difficult problem for everyone to solve. How to solve it and how to overcome this fear. Even people could speak confidently at any settings. But the moment they are put at spot, they lose all the other characters. They can't bring them up at stage. Mm-hmm. How to do it?
Very good point, and it's called glossophobia, the fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
And victims for this are 77% of the world. Some people actually say that people fear public speaking more than death. They would rather just crumble and die. Mm. And this is very powerful that you mentioned the fear of public speaking. Because let's break it down. What exactly is this thing that they're afraid of? This is my opinion. I believe that the fear comes from them imagining the worst scenario ever.
Yeah.
Public humiliation.
Embarrassment. Saying awkward things. People laughing at you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What if I stutter? What if I fall down?
Yeah.
What if something happens? You can never, ever predict what's going to happen. That's one thing. And I'm going to jump into the concept of stoicism. Stoicism is basically acknowledging the things that you can change and the things that you cannot change. So just work on the things that you can actually change. Let me give you an example. If I have to go to the airport and suddenly, as I was walking, it started raining heavily. They delayed my flight for the next week. Why should I be sad and angry about it? I can't control the weather.
Yeah.
Go back home and do whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
So when you walk into the stage, you have no control on what's happening. So let's literally break it down. You have no control on what people think about you. You have no control of if you're going to fall or not. The only thing you have control about is your speech. So do well in it. How do I do well in my speech? Do a lot of speeches. There are times it's going to be awkward and so on. Gain experience in speeches. Practice as many times as possible. Get comfortable with speaking. And the most important thing to cancel the fear of public speaking is to accept the potential of being in an embarrassing moment. So if you fall down. For you, it's a big deal. For the other people, they don't really care.
Yeah. And it could be more in that when people connect with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you are embarrassed.
And no one makes fun of anyone who goes into the stage.
Yeah.
This is something I like to tell people in public speaking. When you stand in the stage, if you tell everyone, for example, if you tell everyone on this row stand up, what are they going to do?
They will stand
They're
up.
going to stand up.
Yeah.
But right now, if you go to the street, you say everybody sit down. Who's going to sit down?
No one.
No one.
Yeah.
It's a very strange power. When you're on the stage,
You
the
have
reason
power.
why people listen to you is because they respect that you stood on that stage. Everyone's afraid on their seat.
Yeah.
I don't
Not
want
everyone would like to go there. Yeah.
The moment they see someone stand there, like,
Wow.
I respect you. I'm going to listen to you. Dude, tell me, raise my this pinky and I'm going to raise it. Whatever you want. So no one thinks, what a loser, he's going to give you a speech. You can give the worst speech ever and people are still going to applaud that. I would have been in a very terrible situation. Yeah. So don't fear it. The fear might be there, but I'm here to tell you, no one makes fun of anyone who stands on the stage. I have done a lot of speeches, been in many areas of speech. No one ever makes fun of anyone. Recently, I was a judge for public speaking in the University of Birmingham. And there was someone who, when he went on the stage, he would be shivering a lot. I'm talking, it's very visual like that. And he was trying to hide it. We can all see it. It's normal. I thought he has a problem, like a medical issue. So after I met him after the competition, he was normal. So then I figured, no, he was actually afraid of giving a speech. He's the one who won best speech among like the audience award. Not as in he won first, second, third. The audience chose him.
Oh, wow.
Because they respect him.
They loved him.
They loved him for what he did. People, yes, could be cruel and so, but no one makes fun of anyone who goes and stands in the stage, because it's a very courageous thing. That's number one. Number two, know that you cannot control anything externally other than your own self. So go there, give a good speech, be authentic to your speech, use the necessary skills, and do your thing. Recently, matter of fact, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I competed in Warwick University for the public speaking championship. The only thing I had in mind is I want to win first place. That's the only thing. Matter of fact, I didn't sleep, not because I was nervous, because that was just in my mind. I want to win. I didn't care about the contents of my speech or anything. I went there and my heart was beating. I was worried. I was very nervous. Because I was thinking, what if I don't win? What if I get second? What if I get third? And I was just panicking. If you even see me in the pictures, I was like that. And although I did seem calm, I was quite nervous. This year, I actually went to compete again. And in my mind, I didn't care about first place. I don't care about anything. I had a speech that I want to talk about that was very dear to my heart. And I said, you know what? I don't care about the result. All I want to do is I want to give that speech. And I was so calm because I accepted the consequence. I accepted if I got first or if I got 10th. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to give my speech. I was so focused on what my speech is going to be that I didn't script it. I didn't memorize my speech. I sort of like did a very big off the cuff.
Wow.
I said that although I didn't know what my speech is going to be about, I said that the first third is going to be about this, second third is about this, and the last third is going to be about this. That's in my mind. And I went there. I was very comfortable. I was calm like water, and I did well.
I remember it was one of the best speeches that you've ever given. And I think it's one of the best that I've ever watched for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was so great. It felt like natural. It felt very natural. You were talking confidently. You were talking all transitions from topic 1 to topic 2 to 3 was so natural. I think it deserved to. It should have been the first place.
Thank you very much.
But the fact that you made it to the third place without even worrying about what place that you want to get, finally you made it to the third place, which is something fascinating. Yeah, well done.
Well, thank you very much, man. Really, like it didn't matter to me what the audience thought. Because I've been, if you saw the content of the speech, a heartbreak. From a relationship, okay? A heartbreak. And it really hurt me. So I wanted to just release it outside. And I just said, and I just
it was so natural, and it was very authentic. It was you, and I think people connect when they see an authentic person talk to them.
And just on the final concept of being comfortable giving a speech and removing that fear is control your time. People think time is running very quickly. When I stand on the stage, oh no, what should I do? They're looking at me. Oh, I have to hurry up.
You have all the time you need.
That's your stage.
They're
here to listen to you. I'm not saying this so you can be an arrogant person, no. But that's your time. Slow down. If you literally have to walk around the stage for 10 seconds, do it without talking. Do it. Go ahead, do it. You know, there are some times in life where if something is really paining you, let's say let's say something very sad happened, do you realize that when at those situations when things are very serious, you do very good in speaking it out. Like when you talk about, let me give you an example. If someone, let's say someone he speaks with his friends from time to time, he's not a very good speaker. He doesn't know the words to say and so on. He's always nervous. He speaks very quickly. But then one day, he was in a relationship and then a girl left him. He was in a heartbreak, painful moment. All the boys group up to make sure he's okay. At that instance, he's one of the best speakers. Why? Because he knows I don't care if time is running quickly or slow. This is so true to me. It really hurts me. So I'm going to take my time speaking about this. He would sit there and say, oh man, she was a great lady. She left me. And because he truly means his words, he's controlling his time. So be authentic with the speeches that you choose and take your time with it. And imagine the audience like just a group of friends. You know, people you just want to tell them something.
I want to do something different in this podcast. I'd like you to give me a topic, and then I'm going to speak about that topic for 1 minute. And I would like you to assess the way I spoke. Okay, and point out what are the things that I did wrong and what are the things that I need to improve. Things like making eye contact, fidgeting, stuff like that. Point out those things so that people could learn from this experience.
It's a very good plan, Azali. Obviously, there are many instances where you could use charisma.
Yeah.
I don't even like saying use because it would be part of you. And I believe the way you're going for it is you giving sort of topic, a talk when you're standing. And a lot of people would think, oh, that's just one type of communication. But when you're mastering that form of communication, you can do it with any other forms. I think it's a very good idea. And it's not that I'm going to tell you what's right and what's wrong. It would be more of these are things that you can implement. It's feedback and it's criticism on the things that you do. But at the same time, I'm saying this not because I'm trying to change your personality. It's more of these are things that you would use to add more power to the message that you're trying to give.
What is the topic that you would like me to talk about for 1 minute?
What do you want to talk about?
Anything. Tell me anything.
Okay. The importance of being a man.
Okay. The importance of being a man. What's the importance of being a man? Is it being strong physically? Or is it being strong mentally? Or is it taking too much responsibilities in life? Feeding your family, going to work, study, whatever that thing you're doing. And how to be a man in this world? This is a question that is very difficult to answer. Because not all people are the same. And also, men, they take lots of responsibilities. They are fathers, they are presidents, they are managers, supervisors. And I'm not saying that men aren't, women aren't, but I'm saying that men, throughout history, they dominate the world. They have to prove themselves. They have to show that they are capable of taking all these responsibilities and being responsible for everything they do. And I'm not saying that they should take all responsibilities. They should share it. But also they should take ownership of their part. And that is, it's not being strong from the outside or inside. It's having a balance between both. Between your emotional side, between your mental side. Having a balance between your toughness and your softness. And I think having that balance could make you a better father who could raise up their children, their kids, girls and boys. And also be a tough and someone who's assertive in world wars, in companies, in situations where the boat is about to drown. And people need to have that balance in a man.
So I gave you a topic of the importance of being a man.
And I didn't prepare for it at all. I only spoke what I believe in and think that I just came to me naturally.
And that's beautiful. And that's why I gave you a topic where you would resonate with. Probably that's something that you thought of before.
Yeah.
If I told you, for example, if I gave you a topic, the importance of electricity for Zimbabwe. It's very on top.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, yeah, okay, I'll try to speak about it for 1 minute.
Mhm.
Me personally, I'd say, no, thank you. I don't know much about that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if it's for fun, I'll
Mhm.
go up and actually start speaking.
Yeah.
But if it's the truth, let's say I'm sitting with my manager, he says, tell me about the electricity effect in Zimbabwe, I'll say, that's an interesting topic. But me personally, I have not much information on that.
Mhm.
And you're authentic. You gave your speech. And I do want to clarify, AlGhazali is at a high level already in public speaking. He has influence, he has power when it comes to his speech skills, which is very impressive. But I like to be very critical on the little things. I can now tell you, you did very good in projection, you did good in eye contact, good, so many good things. But there's always more.
Yeah. This is what I want.
So you were stable, you know.
Mhm.
That's good. It's always important to be stable. You used your hands to speak, use your eye contact, you were projecting your voice, but they weren't amazing.
Mhm.
You stood still, but sometimes you'd move here, and then you'd move back here.
Mhm.
Why are you doing that movement?
Yeah.
The essence of public speaking is to deliver a message. Always put that as top priority. Everything else is a tool to support that. So if you're telling me about the importance of a man, and I see you, you go here, and then you go here, I'm just going to think of that. Oh, why did he do that?
Mhm.
Don't affect your speech. Don't negatively affect it. So if you say, I want to stand still, then stand still and speak about it.
Mhm.
But if you want to move, make sure it's an impactful move.
Okay.
Something that you mentioned in your speech is where you said men have many responsibilities,
Mm.
but I'm not denying women by
Mm.
that.
Mm.
So instead of saying men have many responsibilities, but I'm not denying women, instead of just saying no, we can say men have many responsibilities, but I'm not denying women. Lean in with your body because you actually mean it. Stop them for a second there. And have a further extreme of facial expression. So I'm not denying women. Or so men have a lot of responsibilities, but I'm not denying them. Women have that too. And slow down. Slow down with your speech.
Yeah.
Usually people, you tell them you have 1 minute to speak, they use the entire minute to speak. Why? Maybe it can be just 3 sentences, as long as they're put precisely.
Powerful.
Yeah. After all, you want to deliver a message.
Yeah.
Why are men very important? I believe that the purpose of men is to protect and to provide. This can be applied to countries, to families, to even friendships. And as you can see, that those two attributes, they don't relate much to the physical aspect, although a man can protect physically, but it's mainly about mentally protecting by being there emotionally for his family, his country, his children. There's a good quote by Alan Watts who said, the mind is the standard of the man. So that could be stretched all across a minute rather than giving so much information. Because when you start giving so many things, people will probably just remember 5% of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall as a public speaker, trust me, when you go out there in the career side of things, or even when you speak with people, no one is going to be critical of the things that I just mentioned. They would be really impressed. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty of things, you're good. You can always be greater. So avoid unnecessary movements.
Yeah.
It's good that you're standing still, and have a different diversity of hand movements. You're from the type that do that and then bring it back. That and bring it back. Why not do that and then do that? Try different. You don't have to always come back here.
Yeah.
So men are very important. I'm not denying women. See, the other day I was talking to a man and he told me something very interesting. To me, you see, you're bringing back to your heart. You actually mean it. And you lean in forward sometimes to the people. You use different facial expressions. How do you attain this? It's through experiencing different things.
Okay.
Make it a goal of yours that when I sit with people, I will use the tools necessary to express myself. If I'm annoyed with how someone was treating me, I'd say, look, man, I understand you're doing your thing, but I personally, I don't respect that. So you're trying different things.
Yeah.
And as you start using a lot of those things, you'll eventually be natural at it.
Okay, great. What do you think if I try to do it again? This time I'm going to refine.
Beautifully.
Yeah, I'm going to do the thing that you told me about. and see how it goes.
And be authentic with like how
Yeah.
you're going to use them. Don't just force them. Lean
Okay.
in if you need to. Stand still. So
Okay, great.
let's see it. Yep.
Why men are important? Do you think for their physical power, for the ability to protect their family, their countries, or also their mental power, the softness, the ability to take care of their family, to raise up their kids, to speak so nicely and softly to their daughters, and also teach their boys how to be men, how to be powerful in life, how to take lots of responsibilities, and how to be owner of your words, of your actions. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't be also responsible. They also have lots of responsibility in taking everything in life, making houses so beautiful, feeding boys and girls. And also, men have also part of that. As you said, men are there to protect and also to provide. But how to be a man in this world? How to be a man? It's very difficult to be a man in this world. And people say that going to the gym every day, doing those curls and punching that bag, that's not how you become a man. That's how you become physically strong. But if you're physically strong, what's inside of you? What's in your heart? What about your mental health? What about in your mind? Do you control yourself? Do you have the power to control your desires? Or do you just go with the flow? So the key is to have the right balance between toughness and softness. And having that balance, you will be a very responsible, strong man.
Right. I'll be straightforward with you, AlGhazali.
Yeah.
Your first speech, I knew what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but I forgot 80% of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I forgot 80% of it. Because humans were visual creatures,
Mm-hmm.
all that I remember is just words.
Yeah.
But this one, although not the best, because I'm not gonna sugarcoat things to you.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely big difference. I can repeat your speech right now.
Mm-hmm.
70 to 80% of it, you could say. The little things when you spoke about taking care of your daughters, you spoke in a very low tone. You showed the image. And this is what I mean. When you did that, I imagine a little baby, daughter. Speak about your son. I imagine the son who grew up. You want him now to be a stronger person.
Mm-hmm.
Lifting in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Is it about being just physically strong? But can you control your anger? Use your hands to demonstrate that. You know, you say, I don't deny women. So it felt very different. I now remember your speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the war competition, the one that happened recently, matter of fact, the one before it, okay? Although I came fourth place on that one, I was very devastated. I was sad because remember, I just wanted to win first place.
Mm-hmm.
But then 2 weeks later, there was a competition that was done in Nottingham, and I just went to spectate it. I didn't want to compete in that one. So people who were witnessing my speech in the Warwick one, they said, Musa, I remember your speech. It really had an effect on me, and I've been thinking about it. Because I spoke about the thrill of the hunt, hunting for your own stories, being an interesting person. I remember they said the person who got first place, second place, third, I don't remember their speeches. Maybe they did better than me technically. I don't know how the judges thought of it. But the fact that 6 to 10 people told me I resonate with your speech, that's a win for me. I have done what a public speaker does. Because when I spoke, I meant it. I used hand gestures. I spoke from my heart. I used the necessary tools. And that's why I'm able to reiterate the speech that you've done right now, which you've done really well at it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think we could improve by trying to tweak tiny things in our speeches. We could have massive difference. Yeah, that's really great about harnessing the power of feedback from you. So having this feedback, and next time I'm going to remember that I'm going to work on this. I'm going to try to stabilize myself, use my hands effectively to give a very powerful message. This could be very helpful for my future.
And you know what's the answer to all this? If I were to give one answer on how to be charismatic, how to truly express yourself in a speech.
Mhm.
I keep saying this. People, they say, "Oh yeah, that's true," but then they don't really implement it.
Mhm.
Time control. Control your time, really.
Mhm.
When people go back home or when they go shower, they think, "Oh, I should have done it that way. I should have spoke to this girl this way,
Yeah.
or I should have spoke to this guy that way."
Mhm.
In their mind, they see themselves doing it. Before, let's say I want to go speak with this professor.
Mhm.
I say, I'll be like, "Hey, professor, I hope you're having a good day. I was just thinking, could you support me with this problem? You think I'm going to say it this way?"
Yeah.
When you go there, you say, "Oh, hi, professor, can you help me?" You say very quickly, you're like, "What the hell did I just do? That's not how it's supposed to be."
Yeah.
The professor's not in a hurry.
Mm.
No one's in a hurry.
Yeah.
You did that to yourself.
Mm.
That's why when you're there giving a speech, the people listening to you, you're doing them a favor. Okay?
Mhm.
This is your time. If someone says, "Oh no, he's taking too long," screw them. Let them get out.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother you? No.
No.
I'm here to express a message and I will take my time with it. I don't care.
Mhm.
Recently, I had an incident at work where I work obviously Monday to Friday, but Fridays I work from home. And my manager said, "Well, for the next 2 months, I want you to actually work on site on Friday."
Mhm.
I could have said, "Yeah, he's my manager. I can't do anything about it." I said, "No, I don't want that."
Mhm.
So I sent him a message. I said, "Can we go have a discussion?" And there was a room down the corridor. It's like a conference room. I
Mhm.
was walking over there. So he was behind me walking, and I was walking there. And I was just thinking, okay, how's this gonna happen? Because like, am I gonna get fired if I tell him, "Hey, I don't want this"? Because after all, people say, "Oh yeah, I'll just listen to him."
Mm.
But I don't want that. I want to work Fridays from home because it's peaceful for me. I don't want to come every morning to site.
Mm.
So he sat there, and I thought to myself, "Look, Musa, you can really mess this up." I envisioned what's going to happen when I leave this room. I envisioned that I can sit here, and as you know, the professor example, I can just say, and I just walk and I'll regret it. I said, I'm genuinely, and I'm looking at you guys, I'm genuinely sick and tired of myself messing up. You won't believe the amount of times I went to speak with people, and when I walk away, I was like, I don't know, I didn't want to say it that way.
Mm.
So when my manager was literally sitting there, I opened my laptop to show him my schedule. I told him, his name's Tony. I told him, "Tony, I understand why you don't want me to work from home." And I made sure I look him in the eye.
Mm.
But me personally, look, at the end of the day, the decision is yours. But me personally, mentally, I would prefer to work Fridays from home.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him my reasoning, my examples, and so I was very calm about it. I knew that when I want to walk out of that room, I want to be proud of what I did. Even if he fired me or anything, I want to make sure I represented myself. That is my time. If he told me, "Musa, hurry this up," I'll be like, "Tony, I'm not going to hurry this up. This is my matter and it's very important to me."
Mm.
I accepted the consequence. I knew that I will do whatever is necessary to take my time, and it doesn't matter the consequence. I made sure that was the case, and now I can work Fridays from home.
Wow.
The deal went well.
Wow.
I made sure I established my confidence.
Mm-hmm. Set your own boundaries and taking your time expressing your ideas or whatever.
And I accepted if he told me, "No, you're still going to work Fridays from home," I'd be like, "Very well, Tony. Thank you for your time." And I would have walked away. And I would have smiled because I knew I took my time.
Mm.
So take your
Wow.
time.
Very impressive.
Mhm.
Wow. Thank you for sharing this.
No worries, man.
Wow, all these fascinating things that you shared with me. I really appreciate all what you said. And I'd like you all, I'd like you to explore this idea about how to build charisma without losing authenticity. In other words, how to be genuine and charismatic and to have influence and an impact on people so that people would love to listen to you.
It's a very good point, Ghazali. Authenticity. I really want to make sure I define what authenticity is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the straightforward definition is authenticity is being true to yourself, who you are as a person. And the only way you can know who you are, by the way, it's a very difficult journey. You have to spend a lot of time with yourself, thinking, okay, am I happy with what I did over there? Do I want to do things this way? Who am I as a person? Now, Petru, who was there at the first episode, he once told me a quote, said, "Become the subject of your own experiment.
Yeah, he said that in the first podcast. Yeah.
You are your main subject. So
Yeah.
always be critical of what you do
Mhm.
and ask yourself, am I happy with that or am I not happy with that?
Mhm.
Some people, they want to please everyone. They say, I'll be whoever they want me to be.
Mhm.
And guys especially do this when it comes to girls, sadly. They try to change who they are so they can please this girl, so they can, go on.
Yeah.
And that's sad. It's important to be who you are. Fine, there are some people who won't like you and some people who will like you. It's much better to have one true friend than a million fake friends.
Exactly.
Just one
Yeah,
person is enough.
I
Be
couldn't
who you
agree
are
more.
as a person.
Yes.
Sit with yourself. Say, well, music, let's say. If you're someone listens to music. Do I like this type of music? Do I not like this type of music? Food. Do I like this type of food? Do I not like this type of food? I don't know. So go experiment. Try those sort of stuff. And then say, nah, not really. It's not really my thing. Skydiving, for example. Everyone says, hey, Musa, why don't you come skydiving?
Mhm.
Initially, I would say, oh, that's cool. But then at the same time, I say, I'm not really into that. The only way I can know is to go try it. I'll go see if it's my type of thing. You have to actually go do it. I plan eventually to go do skydiving. If I liked it, I'll keep doing it. If I don't, so be it. I don't necessarily enjoy doing that. Same thing with other stuff. You could say playing games. I used to play a lot of games. I get a lot of online games and everything.
Mhm.
And nowadays, as I matured, I really want to keep playing games, but I lost the joy of playing games. I don't really enjoy as many games as possible. I can lie to myself and tell the boys, "Hey, let's play this game," but I don't have fun anymore.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I no longer enjoy it.
Mhm. Indeed.
That's me being authentic.
Yeah.
So number one, reflect upon yourself as a person. What do you like? What do you not like? Even if you have to write it down, you do what's necessary to have a successful experiment, whether it's researching and so on. And if you don't know if you like or dislike something, go out and experiment so you can know who you are. The moment you know who you are as a person, that's when you can work on charisma. Think of it this way. Let's say you're in this house. Okay? That house has 5 different rooms. And someone told you, here, I have this big bucket of water. It's a very large bucket. And I want you to go spill the water in one of the rooms. So finding who you are as a person is finding the right room. The moment you find the right room, just keep spilling. Work on yourself.
Mhm.
So there are many things I can do right now. I can be someone who I just want to always be the funny guy. No one takes me seriously. I can be the very serious guy. I can be so many things, so many things. I can like all sorts of stuff. I can dislike all sorts of stuff. After I know what I like, lock in.
Mhm.
This is a very strong word. Lock in.
Mhm.
This is it. This is me. I have all what I need right now. This is the life that I want to live. Now I'm going to push with full force over there.
Okay.
People are going to get attracted to me and people are not going to like me. Those same people who don't like me, if I took another path, they would have liked me, but the people who like me at that path won't like me at this path. So it's very strange. But as long as you believe this is your own path, that's important. So yeah, lock in, find out who you are, and then work on being charismatic. So initially, it's finding authenticity, and then working on charisma, which we said is the concept of attracting people based on your character. Attraction is a consequence of an action, and that action is you working on your character, whether it's you speaking more with people, whether it's you building stories. So go experience different things. Try skydiving, try working in different companies, try meeting all sorts of people. The more experience you get, the more of an interesting person you are, the more attraction you will get.
Wow. Those are very thought-provoking thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think when I think of all these things and try to process them, I can relate to most of what you say. Because if you want to improve your life, you have to build your character. You have to work on your communication skills, how you communicate to different people at different settings. Because when you communicate to people in work, it's very different from communicating to your friends. It's very different from communicating to your kids or whatever. So owning your character and be authentic and, as you said, pushing with full force proving that this is I am, these are my boundaries. This, if you like me, okay. If you don't like me, that's your problem. It's not my problem. And I think, yeah, it's okay with that. This is a fact. Not all people will like you at all. Never. So know yourself, know your people, know who likes you, know who dislikes you, and also know why they like you. It's very important, and know why they dislike you. When you know why they do that, you become more aware of your boundaries. If they dislike you because your people, let's say because you are extrovert, you like talking to people, they dislike that. That's their problem. That's not my problem.
It's not.
Yeah. And also, if they like you because let's say you're charismatic, you tell nice, wonderful stories, they like listening to your stories. That's one of your powers. You need to harness that and leverage it to your own benefit. When you are giving a presentation, giving a talk, I think stories are very powerful in showcasing your key message or key ideas that you want to share with people. And I think this is very, very important skill to develop. Thank you very much for sharing all these thoughts. And I would like you to give us a few other tips for personal or professional development for anyone.
Okay. I like the split that you put between personal and professional, because everyone says, I'll just be myself at work.
Yeah.
But you do have to act differently.
Yeah.
You're not faking it. You're still you, but you're using a different form of you. Yeah. Something I really dislike that people say is they say, oh, this person is being different. He's being fake. But humans, we're not one-dimensional. Not even two-dimensional. We're three. We're even beyond of dimensions. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes if someone is very brave, you can see that they're in very sad moods. A lot of things happen in life that change a person.
Yeah.
So in the circumstance of personal interaction, the main objective, and this is a key point, the main objective of personal interaction is to build rapport, to build a connection with someone. So sometimes if you're in a restaurant, you won't pull out a graph and you start to explain. No. The objective is to build a connection with people. So you start joking around, you start having a good time, you smile with people, you reach out, you handshake people, you're all just chilling, comfortable. Yes. Because that's the objective. You do what's necessary to reach the objective. Think of it like getting a score at the end of a quiz. Everyone's objective in social connection is to make a connection. Some people who are more experienced, because they actually went into a lot of events or spoken with all sorts of people, these people are authentic, they knew who they are, and they worked on their character, which in turn attracted people, hence they're charismatic. Those people, they get higher scores. They reach the objective. Let's say they get 95%. Other people, they're new to this. Okay? They said, hey, let me try this. And everyone starts from the beginning. It's okay. Yeah. They say, hi, my name's Dan. And they start speaking a little bit. They still fulfilled the objective. They connected, but a lower score, which is okay. So always work on yourself. So we fulfilled. What's the objective in personal interactions? It's to build connection. At work, that sometimes can be an objective, but there's one golden objective, which is to get the work done. Whether, let's say, you're an engineer, you're a doctor, and so on, it's to solve a problem. So yes, you can use specific interactions. You can, let's say, your manager sitting there. You say, "Hey, how is your day? I do notice that coffee is quite bland. I actually drank it quite a while ago." And you start having a good connection and so on. But if it's a 1 hour meeting, you're just speaking like that. They're like, "Yeah, we still have some work to do. What are you doing?" Exactly. It starts reaching a point where they're like, "No, you're building a negative connection now because that's not the objective. If it was outside work, they'll love you." Yes. But the main point is, okay, let's build some connection. Let's get back to work. Yeah. So that's where maybe if you break down the ice a little bit, you'll say, and that aside, I'm glad that we're all having a good time here. However, I did finish my research on the project that we were working on, and I found 5 different solutions that we can work on. That's where you're using your character to speak about the objective, which is showing them the work that you worked on. So quick tip is understand what the objective is in the scenario, personal one and the professional one. After you know what the objective is, use the necessary tools in order to fulfill that objective with high scores, not just fulfilling it. Especially if you want to be charismatic, you want to attract people, you have to do it well. Usually at work, first of all, let's assume that you have good results to show. That's number one. So you actually have to be good at your work, not just any person. Be good at your work, and then when you want to actually present your findings, break the ice at first. Don't directly jump into it. Break the ice. Make sure show people that you're a human. At the end of the day, we're not just robots. After you break the ice, be confident in your approach. Because if you're someone who says, let's say you have 5 different companies that want to start some connection with the company that you're working with. You say, well, we have company number 1. It's a good company. It's a company number. You're not very confident. The managers and people sitting down, they will try to tackle that. They say, no, I don't like company number 2. I don't think you've done a good job over there. Be confident in your results and own it. And if you did a mistake, listen to what they say. It's fine. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, we can work that out. Write a note about it. But if you appear confident, you say, well, at first we did have company number 1. They showed a lot of interest in what we do. And here's the things that they did, 1, 2, 3. And then that takes me to company number 2. Interact with different sorts of people that show everyone is engaged. And then they really want to listen to what you say. So number 1 is acknowledge which scenario you're in, personal, professional, know what the objective is. Number 2, be confident in your approach. And we spoke about what confidence is earlier. Confidence is a mixture between knowledge and security. I know about the results that I brought, and I'm secure about it. I know this is the right answer for me. If it's not, I'm happy for them to
give feedback.
Yeah, just be confident about it, and the rest is just presentation elements. So public speaking elements, eye contact with different sorts of people, project your voice, interact with different sorts of people, engage with them, and a lot of hand usage, because especially at work, sometimes you think you know a lot of information about your own presentation, but they don't, because they just came into the meeting. So go easy with them. Take your time, explain it to them, use the table if you need to. And when you do that, you'd be surprised that you're not just top 1% of work, you're top 0.001%. Because I've seen people at very high levels that they don't really do. They just come and they just speak. And no one really
remembers. And they don't make any connection with their audience.
No, not at all.
Don't get their message across so well. The point that people will forget what they say. Which is a shame. To see someone who's, let's say, 10% technically expert, but in communication they are 3%. And they come across as 3% in their knowledge, not the full 10%. But when you maximize that communication skill, you'll come across as 10% technically brilliant. I remember I watched this analogy or this action with Vinh Giang. Vinh Giang is a communication skills and public speaking skills expert. He teaches these skills for anyone.
Is he the Asian
around the world? Yeah, he's the Asian guy. He's so brilliant. I learn a lot from him. I think it's very important to master communication skills. It's the key to getting your message across, whatever it is. And I think this is one of the things I try to get across when I gave my TED talk. I remember I put it in the context of lectures.
Is it on YouTube, the TED talk?
Yeah, they will release it. They will release it in a few weeks. So the whole point is, in lectures, we still have to suffer from some boring lectures. We still need to sit and listen to that monotonous, boring lecture all the time. But what if that lecturer changed their tone? What if that lecturer engaged their audience? What if that lecturer smiled, use facial expressions, use hand movements, and everything, use all these things effectively? And also make a few pauses to allow us to grasp all this information, because they tend to throw lots and lots of information without non-stop all the time, and we tend to miss the key message in the whole presentation, because they don't give us the key message in very clear and precise way. They tend to put it in the middle of all this gibberish they talk. This is when lectures go wrong. And this is when students fall into academic boredom, fall into such all of these problems.
They start failing their objective, because in that case, not professional, the objective there is to teach the students.
Teach the students, yeah.
And when they don't implement those skills, look what happens. No one remembers.
Yeah, exactly. I remember from many lectures, I remember that when I attend a lecture, after the lecture ends, I would ask myself a question. What are the key messages from this lecture? I would consciously take maximum effort, try to remember what are the key messages. Sometimes I find one or two, sometimes I don't find any. And it's a shame to not find any key message from having sat for 1 or 2, 3 hours without getting anything in your mind. And it baffles me because we need to understand and grasp this knowledge. And we need to know the key ideas from this knowledge that we need to go and then pursue and develop further knowledge from these key elements, from these key messages. So if we are as students, if we're not inspired enough to go and pursue these key messages and these key ideas and expand them more and try to learn more about these ideas and know them in the first place, how could we solve our education problems? Once you give me a lecture with no key message at all, do I feel inspired to go and pursue further knowledge? I doubt it.
It's very sad because students
Yeah.
they pay a lot of money
Yeah.
for such universities, and a lot of the times I leave a lecture, I'm like, generally don't remember anything.
Yeah.
It's very crazy. So I believe lecturers should go through public speaking classes before actually being lecturers.
Yes, I would recommend that.
Absolutely,
100%
man.
sure.
They
Yeah.
should go through the society, man.
Yeah.
Half of them should be lecturers, literally just sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, if they could spend at least, let's say, 1 hour a week
Yeah,
trying
worth
to hone their public speaking skills, because all lectures are brilliant scientists, all of them, I would say,
Oh, yeah.
but they are not very competent public speakers.
Not at all.
And this is when they fall down and they don't get their message across effectively. This is what I argue all the time.
Absolutely.
Mastering the art of public speaking skills is the key to giving inspiring and thought-provoking lectures rather than boring ones.
I'm surprised the university isn't really tackling that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you did in your TED talk to actually let them know more about that. Because a lot of universities are sad by the fact that students don't really appear much to the lectures. That's the reason.
Yeah.
The reason, because they're very boring.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So, Mohammed, interesting thoughts about charisma and command. But the $1 million question is, why build it? And why not build it? Do I need to build it? Does everyone need to build it? Or only certain people need to build it? Could you tell us more why? Why should I bother go to public speaking sessions? Why should I bother go and watch few movies and take some elements from those characters? Why bother doing all these things? What are the benefits that I'm going to get from this?
It's a great question, as usual, Ghazali.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is simply one sentence. And I'll look at the audience for this one.
Mm-hmm.
The importance of building your charisma and the concept of command within you is because you're doing yourself justice. Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
There are many situations where you had an idea about saying something at a specific way. You wanted to approach a professor, you wanted to approach a friend. Some people were annoying you and you said, I don't like this. I'm going to go walk up and I'm going to say that. And then you walk up and you're like, hey. You say some ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you walk back home or you're even like showering, you just hate yourself for what you did. You're like, oh man,
I wish I said that. Yeah.
I wish I paused at this moment. I wish I said it loud. I wish I looked that person dead in the eye. I wish I expressed it with my hand. I wish.
Mm-hmm.
And that regret starts killing you slowly, bit by bit. So when you go out there doing public speaking, speaking with people, you're doing yourself a justice. You're patting yourself at the back. One day you're going to thank yourself. Because there will be a moment after you went through all those public speaking things that no one likes to go to. Oh, it's very scary. It's not worth it. I'd rather go play football. Football is good, but try this and let me tell you why. Because after you do all those things, public speaking, interviews, speaking with people, experiencing things, the day will come where you say, okay, you see the professor over there? It's my first year here and I want to build a connection with him. I'm going to go walk to him and I'm going to say, hey, professor, that was a very interesting lecture. Would you like some coffee or, some chat we could have? And then you walk up to that professor and you say, "Hey, professor, it was a really great lecture that you had over there. Would you like to have some coffee or have some nice chat?" And you just think, wow, I did it the same way that I thought of it. And even if something happened that you didn't expect, let's say he stood up and he said, "Oh, in my mind, I didn't imagine him standing up." You've already done so many public speaking things. You've been on the spot. You've dealt with all sorts of people that your mind switches. They said, "Okay, I've seen this before. Nothing new." He stands up instead of me just saying, "No, I'm going to handshake." That was a very great lecture.
Mm-hmm.
So the more that you expand, and this is for the introverts, you like to stay in your room and like just with your own connection of friends.
Mm-hmm.
We said initially, or we were talking about the fact that that's a negative. There are positives to it, but
also
the
there's
negatives is that you're
yeah.
limiting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting yourself at a larger risk where you'll be in more dangerous situations. So the more you're charismatic, the more that you experience things in life, the more that you'll gain attraction of people. And the more that you gain the concept of command, you'll do yourself justice, which is with the same demonstrations that we spoke about. And I'll give you an example. You know how they say elderly people, like people 60 plus or 70 plus, very
Mhm.
old people, people say, "Oh, these guys are so cool. They don't care about what people think. They just say anything. They seem so confident." It's because they've lived 70 years and they realize that I don't really care what people think. I'll just say it. That's where like, "Oh, grandpa, how did you do that? That's very cool."
Mm-hmm.
But we're all worried about what people think and so on. So before waiting until you reach 70, why don't you stay at your prime age and go out to experience new things? Because that same 70-year-old man, he was an introvert. He didn't like speaking with people, but he chose to spend 70 to 80 years of all that timidness to eventually realize that people don't care, and he then gained confidence. So you have the power within you to go out there, build your own charisma, build your own character, to command respect, to demand appreciation by people by going out, doing things. It will be awkward a lot of the times, but you're getting stronger every time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very well-known quote that says, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger."
Yeah.
So the first time you have an awkward interaction, next time you're a little better, a little better, a little better. Even me at this case, I have a lot of interactions I don't like. I'm like, "Oh, I could have done that better." But when I look at me compared to me 5 years ago,
5 years ago.
wow, look at you, man. You're giving a speech in front of a senior manager.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that ever.
Yeah.
So you're doing yourself a justice by working on charisma and the concept of commanding appreciation and respect for people.
Wow, this is very interesting. I remember one day in one of Warriors Within sessions, you said something about building that character and charisma, and let's say editing images on social media. Is it the same in a way? How to be sure with who we are, with who you are? How to be sure with who you are? Are you the character you build? Are you the person on that fancy photo that you've edited and posted online? Or are you somewhere below these fake realities?
Yep. The example you mentioned that I spoke about in Warriors Within was I gave an example that when people try to take different aspects, for example, if I watch a movie and I see that one of Al Pacino's characters, he gives very strong eye contact, he has projection, and I take that, am I being fake or am I simply just trying something new, adjusting it to be part of me?
Mm-hmm.
And the example I gave is when people want to post an image on social media, sometimes they would edit it, the colors, the saturation, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I used to think, "Oh, that's being fake because you're not really giving it justice."
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, there are people who put filters excessively. These are people that strange you to
Yeah.
put like the dog ears and so on.
Yeah.
But I'm talking more of if I'm walking outside and I see a beautiful tree and I take a picture of it, the picture I took on my phone does not exactly look like what I saw
Yeah, indeed.
because the phone is limited.
Yep.
So when people adjust the features, they're doing it to give justice to what the reality is that they saw.
Mm.
So I read a post online that's saying this. It says that look at it from a
Mhm.
different perspective. So sometimes if a photographer is taking a photo, he adjusts it because when he wants to show people what he saw,
Mhm.
he can't show them this because it's not the same. He really
Yeah.
appreciates what he saw. So it's the same thing with your character. No one is born with a personality. No one is born with a character. That's why you can have a friend you knew 10 years ago and now he's very different. It's not because he
Yeah.
faked it. He didn't sit at night and say, "Well, let me come up with a plan to change my..." No.
Mm.
things happen in life. People change. People change for the better. People change for the worse. But change is natural. It's inevitable. So if there is a side of you that says, okay, when I express a story to people, I really want people to resonate with my story, but I'm not doing well with that. What should I do? Some people would say, let me incorporate more hand usage.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, I'm not really comfortable with that. Some people say, I want to use more facial expression. Some people like that instead. So you're trying different things. You're editing yourself. Okay? At the end of the day, we're not going to supermarket saying, hey, I'm going to take this from you and I'm putting it on myself. It's still you. Everything is here in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying, okay, from now on, I want to try this new thing. Until as years pass by, you eventually realize that it's natural. I'm doing this. It's subconscious. It's not even something you think of. So you're not really faking it. You're simply being yourself. That's the best way to put it. And think of it like, for example, me 15 years ago. Like anyone, when you were a child, if you went back in time and you went to the child you and you said, hey, look at this guy, and it's a video of you in the future. Now that kid doesn't recognize that it's him, but he says, what do you think of this guy? The kid could say, oh man, I would never do such things like that. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you? Because eventually in the future, that's actually you. So there is no fixed type of personality. Life will eventually change you, but all I'm saying is that you also have control over yourself. Don't just let life change you. Fix yourself. For example, if you're someone who, let's say you're a regular guy, who went through a heartbreak, life will make you feel sad. You're like, oh, she left me and I'm in pain and so on. I don't want to speak to anyone. Or you can control your life. You say, well, I'll take that as a good experience and I'll be different next time. I'll do things in a better way and I'll be more confident in my decisions. I'll set boundaries. I'll set principles. And why are you doing this? Not because you're faking, because you want to save yourself. You want to protect yourself. It's like you're looking at yourself and you're saying, look, I know you went through a heartbreak. It really hurt your heart. But from now on, let's start doing this. And I'm doing this for your sake. I want you to be more confident. You're not faking it. It's like you're protecting yourself by having different features every time.
Wow, this is very informative and dense podcast with lots of wisdom and shared knowledge. I really appreciate all what you've said, all what you've shared. I really appreciate you taking the effort coming from Birmingham to Nottingham. And I can't thank you enough for coming here and sharing all these wonderful thoughts and wisdom. And I hope it will resonate with whoever it will resonate with. Mm-hmm. So benefit from all this. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for being here.
Absolute
I really enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.